Today, the pool pond series continues, and we have a lot of ground to cover. We got a brand new construction project, over 500 pounds of materials to add to the pool pond, and a ton of new visitors that came by to check it out. We're also going to be doing some crazy activities like fish trapping, snake hunting, and even buying some exotic fish. We're also going to be taking a very close look at what's living inside this pool pond. And trust me, you're not going to believe some of the things that we found living in this pond. We've also got tons of underwater footage and so much stuff packed into here that I can't even get to all of it. I'll also be revealing the mystery critter that we couldn't catch in the last video, and you are not gonna believe what it is. So fasten your seatbelts because it's about to be a wild ride. We got it! We got it! We finally got him! Oh! When we ended the last video, the pool pond looked something like this, and by the end of today, it's gonna look more like this. And even though it may not look like much, there were some major differences that we made. Let's rewind back to before I even posted Pool Pond Part 2 to a project I started to make sure we would have a constant food supply for these fish. Alright, so basically we're going to be taking a whole bunch of these tubs and turning them into a breeding ground for shrimp and mosquito fish, minnows, whatever else we can find. Pretty much, we want to have a self-sustaining food source that we can keep putting more and more into the pool pond. That way, we don't have to worry about paying for a whole bunch of minnows every time we need to feed the fish or going out and trapping them. We'll have a homegrown supply 24/7. I start with a base layer of soil and then cover that up with a light layer of dark sand. On top of that, I used the last of my colorful gravel, which I know you guys hate, but I had to use the rest of it. Now that it's set up, I was going to fill it up with water, put in my air stones, and get it ready for the fish. Now, originally my plan was to have these as a permanent solution, but I ended up changing it later on in the video, and that was for good reason. So first and foremost, we're gonna add some plants. I've got some hornwort and some duckweed. So I'm gonna grab a pretty nice chunk of that hornwort, as well as a few pieces of duckweed. This will help filter out the water naturally, while also providing cover and food for the shrimp. Next thing we're gonna do is connect up the aerator. There we go. Now, it may seem pretty nasty right now, but once we add some critters in there, it's gonna be really good, and it looks like we might have something swimming around there. Nope, that's just floating stuff. I'm thinking we're gonna put shrimp in this one and fish in this one. Now, if you remember from part 2, I had told you guys that I was saving half of those shrimp for a special project, and well, this was that special project. As you can see, there are millions of those little shrimp. So we're gonna put half of them in the pool pond and the other half we're gonna save for a project that's gonna be in the next video. Now, all these tiny little things are a bunch of baby shrimp, so those are gonna go in the shrimp tank. I sorted them out with the minnows on the right and the shrimp on the left and pretty much just hoped they'd breed on their own. Look at all those baby shrimp. I put a few of them in the minnow tank as well. The minnows might eat some of them, but it'll also help keep the tank nice and clean. Looking up through the top, you can see some of them swimming around. And up here, you're not really gonna be able to see very much at all because those shrimp are tiny. But that's enough of my side project. We'll come back to this later. It's time to get to the pool pond. Now, I've gone through several filters while I've been doing this project. What would happen is basically they'd work for 2 or 3 days and then it would clog up. I'd spray it out and then eventually it just wouldn't absorb anymore and it just kept getting clogged up. So instead, I got a whole bunch of this aquarium sponge, and this is what we're gonna use in our filter. Now, we're not gonna use all of this, we're gonna use a little bit, and then we're gonna be using all the rest of this in a future project later in this video. I kinda just shoved this aquarium filter down there, and there's a reason that I wanted to get this started up so early in the video, and that'll be revealed in a little bit. All right, now that we have an actual filter in there that's not gonna get clogged up, we're gonna see if this works. And all it took was 3 days for everything to change. Well, it would seem like that has worked because now we can see all kinds of stuff. You can see the pots down there. You can see all these plants. Now, we do have a good little layer of algae on the bottom. Oh, something just skittered away from right there. And man, this pool pond is looking beautiful. It seems like right now all the fish are hiding underneath all these plants. At this point, the pond was looking beautiful, the lilies were in bloom, and everything seemed to be going perfect. But I needed to get some algae eaters, that way we didn't have to deal with those large algae blooms again. I'm out here in the backyard pond this evening in search of one critter for the pool pond. We've been needing some algae eaters, and I see some scurrying around down there. Let's see if we can get lucky and scoop one up. There we go, and that's what we're looking for. some little tadpoles. Now I know some of you guys had requested for me to put frogs in there, but the problem with frogs is they'll escape. These tadpoles won't be able to escape until they're adults. And I'm pretty sure these are some bullfrog tadpoles. I don't know if you guys can see them as well as I can, but right there, it's like a whole school of them. Ugh. Actually, I don't know what a group of tadpoles is called. We got quite a few there though. Usually a group of swimming things is called like a school of fish or something like that. I don't know though, what would they call a group of tadpoles? Ooh, there's a ton down there. Oh, I don't know if y'all can see them, they're scattering like roaches. Oh my goodness. Ugh. I had to have caught at least one. Oh, that's like 5 or 6 of them. Sweet. It's been a few days and that pump is still going strong. I haven't had to clean it out yet. I'm allowing that beneficial bacteria to build up, but we got these tadpoles and now we are going to release them into the pool pond. And hopefully they don't get eaten immediately. It's kind of later in the evening, so we can't quite see all the fish moving around down there. I saw one skitter off. Oh, there's one down there. I don't know what kind of fish, it's kind of hard to tell. But we've added the tadpoles. They'll help eat all of that algae on the floor, and hopefully we'll have an even clearer pond. Now I know it's not the frogs you guys wanted, but eventually they will be frogs, so I kind of added frogs. Oh my gosh. So I set a trap out in the backyard pond. We caught a ton of these tadpoles. But we gotta release them in as soon as possible. I apologize for the weird audio. I had my phone in my underwater case because I really wanted to get an underwater shot of releasing them, but it turns out recording with one hand, dumping a trap out with the other, and trying to be on target is not the easiest thing. Luckily, we were able to get some underwater footage after the fact and see them scurrying around on the floor. And here's all that ugly gravel, which don't worry, we're gonna get that fixed very soon. I was also able to get a good glimpse at the gar, which we still don't have names for, so y'all drop those name suggestions down in the comments below. But these gar have been quite slippery in the daytime, but at night I can usually find them. I also saw some of the other bluegill and sunfish, as well as gar number 2. But in the morning, I was going to get some even better underwater footage while the water's still clear. I knew that the water wouldn't stay clear forever, so this was my perfect chance to get some good underwater footage. Now, I know a lot of you are going to be very offended about all the fake plants that are still there. Don't worry, by the end of this video, every single one of them will be gone. When it comes to gathering spots, the fish really love the driftwood pile right underneath all of the plants. Even though the water isn't as clear as my first ever pool pond video, it's definitely really cool to see this thing turn from a pool into an actual pond. But it is missing some creatures and I want to find them tonight. At the end of Pool Pond Part 2, we were after a mystery amphibian that was evading me every single night. And tonight was no different. All I found was Mr. Snappers the alligator in the backyard pond. And sadly, the Louisiana government frowns on me keeping an alligator in a pool pond. I went a good little while without being able to do anything to the pool pond and it held its own very well. But I knew that I was about to do something that would completely disturb everything that I'd worked so hard to create. You see, up until this point, I hadn't really touched the pool pond. I'd let it do its own thing and just kind of observed from a distance. But now, I had a project. You guys had given me the idea to make a bog filter, and that's exactly what I was about to do. I cut out the original audio because my plan changed. Originally, I was going to have it as like a waterfall feature, but it ended up having to be something completely different. I needed to cut away an access point, that way I'd be able to put fish in and do all of the stuff I need for my bog filter. Now that the metal was cut out of the way, I basically just needed to trace that same thing and cut the actual tub itself all the way around. This will give me a perfect access point to put fish in and fill up the water and have a waterfall feature, which ended up being something else. Funny enough, all the vibrations actually scared up some worms, so we got a free meal for the bass. Alright, so we got it cut, we got it cleaned. The plan is to fill the bottom of this with rocks, sand, gravel, all kinds of stuff so that beneficial bacteria can grow. The water will flow, instead of going straight into the pool pond like that, it'll flow into here, fill it up, and then spill out like a waterfall feature, which I know a lot of you guys asked for. And then it'll also, in the process, clean the water biologically through plants and beneficial bacteria growing in this tank. We're also gonna be taking all of the shrimp and minnows that we've been breeding, and let's be honest, it hasn't really been the best breeding project, but we're gonna be taking these critters and raising them in that big IBC tote instead. And this is where that filter comes in handy, because this has been growing all that beneficial bacteria, and this is just gonna jumpstart the whole process. Now the pool pump will just pump water in here, and then it'll overflow through this tank into the pool pond. That will fill this up, which will then spill out here and aerate the water, and everything will be cleared out in there. And here's the part a lot of you guys have been waiting for. I'm finally going to remove every single one of those plastic plants. Now, I'm doing this for two reasons. First of all, it's to remove them because we have better plants and better cover now, but it's also because I was preparing for the next move, which is coming in just a minute. You guys really hated the colorful gravel. I don't know why everything colored upsets the internet, and you guys just absolutely hate anything artificial, but I took it out, and we're gonna be adding in a lot more natural colors and natural stuff to this pool pond. 500 pounds worth of natural material. Okay, I think this is the last handful of aquarium plants that we had that were not real. So now, I guess we're gonna have to replace those with some real plants. I let the bog filter run for a few days, and since it was working so well, it was finally time to add our next item. Okay, it's been about 4 days now, and this thing's actually been running perfectly the whole time. I wanted to make sure there'd be no leaks before I added the sand and gravel and everything else, because if there were any leaks, we might have to drain it and retry it. So now that we've got it all figured out, we're gonna add a whole bunch of sand, gravel, and then a few fish and plants in here. I had bought over 500 pounds of sand, rock, lava rock, river rock, gravel, all kinds of stuff. And trust me, at this point, my back was feeling it. After hauling all of it from my car all the way to the backyard and then dumping it one bag at a time, I was about ready to give up.
Once it settles, I want to see how much I've covered with that first bag of sand. Most of this sand is going to be going in the pool pond itself.
I want to take a quick second to thank the guy who told me to use play sand. That was the best idea ever. Thank you very much. Now, before I add any of the rock, I want to make sure I wash it very thoroughly. That way it doesn't get a big cloud of mud. All right, got some lava rock. I added my last bag of lava rock and went inside to rest. And when I came back outside to check on the pool pond, I was met with an incredible sight and sound. The frogs must have heard the commotion about the new construction and decided to test it all out and see if it was OSHA approved. As you can see here, this toad is very carefully testing the load-bearing skills of this hose. The hose didn't come loose, so I think that means I passed. The bog filter had a lot of sediment, but it was all starting to settle down. I was hoping that in the morning things would be a lot clearer. All right, a couple days later, you can see all the way to the bottom. It's about time for us to start adding some creatures in here, but we're gonna be adding some boxed creatures. A lot of you guys also suggested Daphnia and fairy shrimp to be a little bait source for the bait fish. So that's what I got. I also got some brine shrimp eggs, which are disgusting. All right, we got our brine shrimp eggs and... Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I guess... Oh, that's a little much. I guess that'll be all right. It looks like they're starting to sink a little bit. Now, I have no idea what kind of insane brain fart I had, but brine shrimp need to be in salt water, not fresh water. So yeah, I might have had an absolute idiot move here. So they're not gonna hatch. Those eggs aren't gonna hatch. I'm gonna skip the whole monologue I had here about brine shrimp eggs, blah, blah, blah. We're just gonna skip over to the other ones. And then these apparently are in capsule form. So I'm gonna drop, I'll start off with one capsule of fairy shrimp and one capsule of this Daphnia. Okay, when I said capsule, it looked like it was like a pill, but this is like a little tiny container. So I thought it was gonna be like a little pill that I just drop in the water. But fairy shrimp, if I'm not mistaken, these are the same things that like sea monkeys were. So they should hatch in a couple of days, and then basically it'll be a nice bait source for the bait fish. Okay. Now they're supposed to have a really high hatch rate, so we'll have to see. I don't even know if we're gonna be able to see these things because they're so small. But we're gonna try and rinse that out. Okay, and these are the Daphnia eggs. So I'll do the same thing, and then we'll just have to wait a few days and see what happens. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I had no idea what Daphnia were until a lot of you guys kept suggesting me putting them in here. So I guess we'll have to see how good these things are. I've never done this before. This has plenty of water for them to go around in, plenty of stuff for them to eat, and they could always escape out of the hatch and into the pool pond below. Now these little things that I set up a long time ago, they really didn't work out too well. So I'm gonna try with these other capsules and see if we can raise some of them in these 2 tanks. No stinking way. It's hard to see, but there's a school of itty bitty minnows right there, which means they've been breeding in here. So the water stayed fairly clear now. There's a little bit of suspended particles and stuff. The major problem I've been coming up with is these topwater plants. I had to remove a lot of them because they've started to kind of take over. And then for whatever reason, it's just collecting a lot of that sediment. So I'm not sure exactly what to do about that other than add more algae-eating creatures. So we're gonna catch a whole lot more tadpoles and put them back in here. All right, we had a package come in. And now we've got some big old minnow traps. We've got 2 of them. We're gonna take them out, we're gonna set them out and see if we can catch some fat minnows. Oh my gosh, that is the biggest water beetle I have ever seen. My goodness gracious, that thing is massive. We still haven't caught our mystery amphibian. I'm still looking for him. Tonight just might not be our night. Well, this isn't the one we're after, but still a pretty big frog. I was gonna grab him, but holding a flashlight and my phone and everything, not exactly the best strategy. Well, what do we have here? Oh, where'd he go? There's a big old water snake. Dadgummit. Man. That's another one. That one's a little baby. A little diamondback water snake. Oh. Well, his teeth got me, but he is just, ouch, water snake. We got him under control now. That's one, that's a little small one. Not the one I was after. You can see he gave me a little kiss right there on the hand. Okay, got gloves, got a brighter light on my head, and we are after that big sucker. I don't know where he went, but we gonna find him. There's another one of them giant water bugs. That thing's huge. You can also see a whole lot of them tadpoles. Looks like this one's starting to get some legs growing. That one just let me scoop him up. There's a million of those tadpoles. Like, look, you can see them. They're scattering around like roaches. This is pretty cool. That is a spider that has just shed its old skin. That's something you don't see every day. Is that another snake? That is. They must have had a whole bunch of babies here this last year. Guys, caught him. I caught him in the net. Look at that sucker. Looks like another diamondback. Man, these things are annoying. This is diamondback snake number 3, or water snake, I should say. There he is. I'll put him in the sack with the others. We're gonna have to just, I guess, relocate these out in the swamp somewhere. I definitely don't want them growing big back here. But my goodness, that's in 3 so far, and I'm not really looking super close. Well, walking back up to the house, and I see one of these. It looks like it's a katydid or some type of grasshopper, and it's shedding its exoskeleton. Kind of cool to see that. I guess they're all deciding to do it tonight. The next morning, it was time to check if we had caught our mystery critter or a bunch of minnows. Okay, let's check our haul. Quite a bit. Chances are the first couple are gonna get eaten, yeah. But you know, you gotta, oh my gosh, they're all just getting eaten. Oh my gosh, every single one of those just got eaten. We're gonna put the rest of these guys in here and let them eat the algae from here because there's no way they're gonna survive in there. Those bass just annihilated them. Well, these topwater planter things, they seem like a good idea, but they really haven't worked. So I'm setting them off to the side. Maybe we'll find something that'll work really well, but it seems like all it did was kill the plants. I think it just stayed too wet. Like that was a strawberry plant there, but it just never took off. So we'll have to find something else to put in there next time. But for now, we're just gonna take them out. Now it's an overcast day, so these things aren't working at full capacity, but the water's staying pretty clear. We got a little flower right there, bass chilling right here. And you can see the mass of hornwort has finally kind of settled down a little bit. And this guy is just waiting for me to feed him. He follows me everywhere, watch. Don't mind me, guys, just walking my fish. He has become very, very well trained. And then this other bluegill here in the bottom, I don't know if you guys can see him, but he also likes to follow. Actually, that's a red spot, I believe. I only usually see the 2 bass. I have not seen that 3rd bass in a while. I don't know where he's at. Maybe I do see him and I just don't realize that it's the 3rd bass, but they don't school up as much anymore. They kind of separate a little bit. So we've got that bass right there. The other one, I don't know where he went. See, they don't stick together anymore. We'll do some underwater. Oh, he found another one of the tadpoles. Oh man, one of them escaped, but not for long. Oh look, there's the school of minnows. It's kind of hard to see them when they're against a dark background, but there's a big school of them. Oh, I bet he's gonna eat out of my hand. These dudes just watch my every move. Like they're all just sitting there watching me. But this thing's been pouring out a good bit of water. There was a clog earlier, so the water level's kind of risen up a little bit, but it'll all flow out. We have had a couple minor leaks down here, so I'm working on addressing those, but as you can see over there, the water level's staying just about its maximum. So the fish are fine, plenty of aeration here. The solar aerators, got 2 of them running over there. Everything's going great. I was kind of expecting at this point to run into some major problems, but the water stayed fairly clear since I've made all of these changes. Not sure if you can see, but the walls right here are still lined with those Daphnia eggs. And in here is the same thing with the those other creatures. So I don't know if they're gonna hatch in time for this video to come out. If they don't, we'll obviously have an update part 4. But right now, it's looking like they're not hatched just yet. We're gonna give them a few more days before it's time to post this video, and maybe they'll hatch. All right, well, we just got the water nice and clear, and now I'm about to muddy it all up. We got about 300 pounds of rock and sand. We're gonna add all of that into the pool pond now and let it settle for the next couple days. I let the sand get wet, so basically it's just one giant clump and it is not wanting to pour out properly. But we got the first bag done. I'm out of breath and we still got 2 to go. The dry sand was 50 pounds. This wet sand is like 70. Oh, 1 to go on the sand, and then it's time for the gravel. Okay, I'm gonna start on this other side. And 1 bag of rock left. These are a bit larger. All right, that was some river rock, so it's a good bit bigger. And we'll have a nice rocky area right here. I don't want to go around walking in the pool pond anytime soon, especially with all those rocks now, because it could puncture the bottom. So I'm gonna stay out. I'm gonna let this clear up for a little while. I know it looks really muddy and nasty, but give it a couple days and it'll clear up just fine. You can see all the particles and stuff suspended. It's been about 3 or 4 hours, so the stuff's slowly starting to settle. I don't know if you guys can see too well, but there's rocks all over the bottom. It looks really beautiful, very natural, but it's just gonna take a while for all those suspended particles to finally fall down. And while we're waiting on this to finish up, that thing looks really ugly. So y'all give me some suggestions on how I can make it look, I don't know, a little bit prettier than just this tub that's kind of tilted over. I wanted to add a whole bunch of bait fish to that tank, so I went out and set a fish trap. Okay, I've had this trap setting for a little while. And did we catch the gar again? We did. We caught jaws and a whole bunch of other things. I don't see any minnows though. It looks like it's pretty much just bluegill and sunfish, and Jaws our alligator gar. Oh no, there's actually some minnows down there. Okay, I'm gonna get Jaws out first because he's gonna cause the most problems. I'm gonna carefully grab him. This is Jaws. He's our alligator gar. We built this pond specifically for him, and he's getting nice and big. We've had him for just about a year now. I'm pretty sure we're at the year mark. And then we've got a whole bunch of these other guys, but there are a few minnows, so we're gonna grab those and bring those to the pool pond. Look at that beautiful fish right there. That's one of those long ear sunfish. All right, I mean, it's not a ton, but it's a good little bit. All right, it's been a couple more hours. Stuff's still settling down. You can see our river rock right here, the gravel over there, and we kind of basically have this whole side is sand and rock, and that whole side is all kinds of plants and sticks. We even got some real pretty cool little creatures. This right here is a banana spider, but he's gonna be stalking all these creatures along the edge of the pond. Since the front yard pond didn't work too well for minnows, I decided to go out to the swamp using some bread for bait again and some hand nets. I saw a whole school of minnows right over here on the bank, so I'm gonna set this thing really shallow, and hopefully in the next hour or two we'll have some good minnows. Lots of minnows down here. I think I'm just gonna set the trap just right here. Just like that. I want it to be just barely to where they can swim into it, but it's where those holes are staying like on the opening of the water. So I'm gonna let that set for a few hours, come back to it in a little bit. We're gonna be doing some fishing in the meantime and setting some other traps as well. Okay, looks like we're gonna have to use the net here. I hope that the net's holes are big enough. Oh, they're small enough, perfect. Okay, sweet. If we can catch them in the net, that's gonna be good. There's a ton of small ones. We're gonna use a small net to catch these tiny ones. And then we use the big net to catch the big ones. So as you can see right there, we've got tons of little tiny ones. We're gonna put them in a live well and turn on the aerator. See a big family of them right here. It's gonna be a weird scoop. Oh, we got a few. Nice. Another group. Gotta watch out for that stick that's sticking out. Oh, a couple more. There's a lot here, a lot. Oh, got a few. There we go. Got a few more. Okay, I've been scooping up for a few minutes and they're all kind of hiding here. Got quite a school. Still working on getting some more though. While scooping minnows, I ended up grabbing a crab. Sadly, crabs are more like saltwater or brackish water. We don't have any saltwater, so we're gonna let him go. But we did catch a couple minnows in this one as well. Okay, moment of truth. Have we caught a lot of minnows? Not really. I think the holes on this trap are just a little bit too big. I think we've caught one minnow that I can see, and that's it. There's a little crow over here. Wonder if it wants a little snack. Yes. Yes. Yeah, we fed the bird. You're okay. Yeah, we're feeding the bird. Okay, end of the day, we've got a ton of minnows in here. They're kind of hiding off in the corner there. But we're gonna go ahead and put those in the IBC tote, the little bog filter, and hopefully they'll raise a lot of babies in there, and then the babies will slowly fall into the pool pond, and it'll be a never-ending food source. One last scoop for the road. It looks like there's a lot of stuff moving around, but you can't really see anything. Oh, we caught quite a few. Perfect, I guess that'll be a good last scoop, and we'll head to the house. Those minnows we released earlier, they're all swimming around, they're doing good. Oh, well, maybe not that guy. That guy might need to be fed to the other ones, but those are doing good. This guy, I might just have to feed him. And there he goes. But I'm gonna go ahead and unload all these that we just got and put them in this tote. First, we got some hornwort. I'm gonna keep that in here. That'll be a little bit of extra filtration and plants. We're gonna put a lot of topwater plants in here as well, but let's go ahead and get all of these guys dumped in there. It's kind of hard to see with the glare here above me, but there's a lot of these suckers. And the water temperatures are the same, so there's no acclimation needed. Ugh. There we go. Did a little bit of a vortex by adding all that water in at one time, but you can see them all down there. I don't know if you can see them too well on camera. You can see some of them against that side wall.
They're all over the place. Looks like they're doing pretty good. And hopefully there'll be a lot of them that breed in here and everything will be good there. Now one of them got a little too close to the spout and just got sucked down in there. So that'll probably happen to a few of them. And honestly, that's kind of the plan. The plan is as they have babies, for some of the babies to get sucked in here and fed to the fish. This guy's looking to eat. Oh, he's about to attack my finger. Goodness. The bass came about an inch or two away from biting my fingers when I had absolutely nothing, so I grabbed a worm to see if I could get him to eat out of my hand. He's about to do it. Oh, I dropped it. No. Okay. You're gonna get him. He's gonna get it. Just thinking about it. Oh no! He went for it and then ducked last second. Come on, dude. Come on. Come on. There he goes. Oh, man. I'm going to get him to eat out of my hand eventually. Watch. Boop, gone. I'll get him to eat out of my hand eventually. It just might take a little while. Hopefully, within the next week or so, I'll have him eating out of my hand. But he was real aggressive. He came up and smacked right at my hand. I didn't even have anything in my hand. So, next time we get him aggressive and hungry, I'll try to feed him by hand again. Now at this point, it's been over a month since I've been after that mystery critter, so I decided to take a net out and just blindly scoop around and try to catch him. More tadpoles. Okay, we got some minnows. Oh, that's a fat minnow. Sweet. Okay, we got some minnows. Got a little bug. I don't want to get rid of that bug, but those minnows are good size. Tadpoles, teeny tiny crawfish, and that's about it. Another tadpole, another minnow. This area right here seems to have a lot of movement. Oh, looks like a shrimp and then 4 tadpoles. Oh, a shrimp, and it looks like a minnow underneath that leaf. The mystery critter was a no-go today, but I figured I'd catch a few more for the filter. Oh, that worked. I even caught a fish. Couple more. And while I'm out in the backyard pond, I decided to scoop up some more of these plants so we could have some for the bog filter. There we go. Plenty of these guys. All right, let's see what all we caught. Tons of tadpoles, a couple minnows, and even a bluegill. Got the bass waiting, so we're gonna give him that bluegill. Oh, he actually didn't take it. Oh, maybe he's finally eating his fill. Oh, those 2 bass are fighting. Well, these guys should help keep everything clean, so I'm gonna go ahead and release them. Oh, there they go. Look at all them suckers. All right, oh, you can see them kind of gathering down there. Once the water clears up, we'll even get some underwater footage in this tank. This tank's still working on getting clear, getting better every single hour, but still not perfect. Okay, the breeding tank, they've all kind of gotten accustomed to each other. It's looking a lot better. We'll get some good underwater footage later. These guys are pretty much just waiting by this outspill to see if there's any more fish that come through. I've watched a couple of them get sucked out, so they've been having a nice little buffet. I do think we need a little bit more crawfish. I haven't seen any of the crawfish since we added them. Once the water got cleared up a little bit, I'm pretty sure the bass ate them all. He's been growing really fast. Oh, look, that other one's chasing the minnow. That's the other bass. Oh, now they're fighting each other. I've only seen 2 of the bass. I haven't seen the 3rd bass in a long time. So that's the big one. That's Bubba Bass. No, that's Big Jack. That's Big Jack. I think the other one is Gator, because Gator was a little bit smaller. And then Bubba Bass is like the smallest one. I haven't seen Bubba Bass. He might be just a little bit shy. I just haven't personally seen him in a little while. So I'm not sure if he's still in here or if maybe the other fish bullied him and the crawfish ate him. I got no clue what happened to him. All I know is I haven't seen him in a while. Now with all these topwater plants, I'm gonna start putting them in here. I like these topwater plants because they don't spread and take over like those other ones did. Those other ones, I had to remove pretty much all of them because they took over the entire pond. These things though, they still provide plenty of cover. They clear up the water pretty good, but they stay fairly controlled. All right, I'm gonna put some of these in here. This will help clean up some of that water as it comes through. The only thing I'm gonna watch out for is making sure it doesn't go over there and clog that, because if it clogs that, then this thing can overflow. So I might build some kind of cage around that. That way they can't block up the whole system. Okay, so bad news. These plants are gonna have to somehow be corralled away because they blocked that up. which basically made this thing overflow and the entire pool pond drain to about halfway capacity. Now I am working on refilling it back up. Luckily all the fish are okay. You can see the bass right there. None of the fish are dead or floating or anything. The only issue is I've now got to make sure that that hole right there does not get clogged, and these topwater plants are going to be an issue. Also, the hornwort actually got sucked up into the pipe, and so I had to take that out and throw that in here. So I'll have to figure out some way to block this from floating over there. So that's the next project. So I haven't been able to catch the mystery critter just yet, so we're gonna set out a trap with some interesting bait. This is the trap I'm gonna be using in this pond. Now I've gotta make sure I leave enough out of the water so that whatever the creature is can come up and breathe, but we're gonna be baiting it up with crawfish. Right here, we've got cooked, peeled, cleaned, whatever, crawfish tails. We're gonna go ahead, they're not seasoned, they're just cooked. I learned that the hard way. I thought they were seasoned and I tried one a while back and it was terrible. We're gonna throw a few of these in because the creature that we're trying to catch is a crawfish eater. All right, we're just gonna kind of drop. Oh goodness, that was a lot more than I expected to, but that's okay. Lots of scent. These do not smell good. They don't smell like your typical Cajun crawfish. This is some Chinese company, so they don't have that good Cajun seasoning on them. They should smell really good to the fish and the creatures, even though they don't smell good to me. I don't want this leaking in my waders, so I'm gonna squeeze the juices out into the water, maybe get some scent out there. Pop this back into my inventory here. Pop back in the inventory, let's set this trap. Cleared out a little spot for the trap. I'm gonna set it just like that. With a trap set like that, he can still come up for air, but he won't have a way out once he gets in. But since this is week 5 of trying to catch this, we're gonna set 2 more traps out in another location. Now this area is a deep little pocket, so I'm gonna set another one right here. Dump a few of these in here. Okay, got our crawfish in here. I'm just gonna set it right there, just like that, and I'll tie it off to the bank. Might be a little much, but I wanna make sure the scent gets out there. Let's see, is that gonna be above water? Yes, perfect. All right, we got it tied off here. We're gonna come back in the morning and check it and see if we caught our mystery critter. If not, we might just have to post the video without catching him. But while we're waiting on the traps to do their own thing, we're gonna make a little contraption for us to look at the pool water. You see, I've got a microscope, but I don't have any blank slides, so we're gonna make one today. Basically, I'm just gonna cut this into a makeshift microscope slide, which is basically just a small piece of plastic that's clear. And just like that, we've got a makeshift microscope slide for the low price of free. Using little capsule containers from the Daphnia eggs, I gathered some samples of water from both the pool pond and the bog filter to go and look at under the microscope. I want to see what tiny critters are living in this. Okay, we have our little homemade slide and we have our sample of water. All right, we've got our sample, we've got our test tube. I'm going to carefully put a couple dots here and there. There we go. Got several droplets. We're gonna put it under the microscope and see what we find. With the water looking so clear, you wouldn't think there'd be much to see under the microscope, but boy, would you be wrong. Ah, we got some movement. We got some movement here. All right, y'all can see, look at that. You can see the little creatures moving around. There's a couple of them. We're gonna get a bigger look at them in just a second. There's a big dark one on the right there. I really wanna get a good look at him. Ah, there he is. Look at that. All right, there's one little creature moving around. See if we can spot that other one. There he is. See him swimming around. It's important to note that this is what most of the water looks like. It's kind of like clear. There's little bits of plant debris and stuff, but not many creatures moving around. I grabbed specifically next to the plant so we could try and see something. But for the most part, it is just kind of suspended plant particles. Heck yeah, come look at this thing.
Ooh, what the heck is that? Is that the parasite?
Oh, that's cool looking. That's cool looking. Is that a mosquito? That might be a mosquito larva. Look at that thing. A little closer look. That thing's gnarly looking. That's crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and get some more samples, see if we can find something really crazy.
This time I grabbed a sample from the front yard pond, which is known for being super clear.
All right, this is the other pond water, and this right here is why looks can be deceiving. Let me get this thing focused. That water may look clear, but trust me, it is not. I mean, it looks like a bustling city down there. Oh, look at that.
I was trying to figure out some way where I could introduce a new type of footage for you guys, so if this is something you like and you'd like to see it in future videos, let me know in the comments down below. If we have any microbiologists that watch this video, please let me know what these things are.
This is what I was looking for. This is on the lower magnification. This is a giant. I mean, you can see all the other little critters moving around, but this thing is like the apex predator. Oh, he just ate one. Nope, never mind. It was behind him. Oh, I thought he had just eaten one. Look at that guy right there. That's a big critter. You can see he's touching the edge of the water, and he can't escape the little bubble. And so he's kind of just scooting around. But that right there, it doesn't matter how clean water looks, do not drink water without boiling it. There's all kinds of these little critters, and they can hurt you. Oh, take a look at that thing. Oh, what is that? Look at that thing. It's scooting around. Oh, it's escaping from me. It's too fast. There he is. Oh, there's another one. There's two of them. I mean, just look at all of that stuff that's on the screen right now. That's all in one itty bitty tiny spot, and there's all these different little critters. And that's the water that looks even clearer than the pool pond. Oh, there's that creature. Oh, look at that. I gotta be super still. It almost looks like a silverfish with that little springtail at the end, but my goodness, that is so bizarre looking. Oh, look at that. That's a creature for sure. I'm glad he's posing for us real quick so we can get a good look at him. If there's any microbiologists that watch this video, please comment, what in the world is this thing? And all of that life was contained in a single droplet of water.
Just for size reference, this is the lowest setting I have on my microscope looking at an ant, which means most of these critters were smaller than the stinger of an ant.
Okay, so now you guys know why you don't drink pond water, and the pool pond is actually cleaner than it may look. Even though it has some of those scary looking creatures, it's not nearly as bad as other ponds. But that's not necessarily a good thing, because those microorganisms are a food source for all the other critters, and it basically supplies a whole food chain. So we do need some. Obviously we don't need it completely infested, but it is a good thing to have those microorganisms.
I went to sleep for the night with this little thing haunting my nightmares, and the next day we're going to go out and check the traps.
Okay, moment of truth. Have we caught our mystery critter? Maybe not, but we got a ton of these tadpoles. Goodness. I'll leave that trap there. We'll come back for it on the way back in. Let's go check the other ones. All right, moment of truth. Oh, we had something that tore through it. It looks like the crawfish had picked holes in it. We got one sticking out the bottom right now.
Things were not looking good. I was down a trap. We had one trap left to check, and only 2 days before I was going to post this video. So we needed a miracle, and we needed it with this next trap. Otherwise, we would not have this creature.
I see our trap. Oh, we got it! We got it! Yes, sir! We caught it! We finally got him! Oh, we finally got him. And a tiny crawfish. Oh, let's get this guy out and we'll see a closer look. All right, we got our traps here. Let me grab this and let's hurry up to the pool pond, which is luckily just a little bit away. For all of these tadpoles, we're gonna release them. Oh, there's looks like a little bluegill in there too. We're gonna release them in the bait tank. I'll leave that for them to eat as well. And as you can see, the water's clearing up pretty good. You can see the rocks down at the bottom. And here, water's settled really nicely. You can see the bass pretty clearly right here. And things are going great. And now, what we've been waiting for so long, the mystery critter, which I am now going to reveal as a siren. Now, I think this is a siren. Now, I had some people comment and ask if it was an Amphibian, and they look very similar. So maybe it's an Amphibian. I'm not 110% sure, but this thing is awesome. You can see it's got those little eyes, it's got nubby little hands, it's got some on the back as well. We're gonna release this in the pool pond, and he will be our first amphibian that won't be eaten by that bass because he's way too big. Look at that. That is sick looking. Looks like a little eel or a snake, and he goes right into that sediment down there, and he'll have plenty of space. There's also a crawfish. We're just gonna drop him in there. This guy will probably get eaten either by that amphibian or by the bass. Oh, bass got him. Oh no, he escaped. Well, there goes the crawfish right down into the bottom. You can't really see them once they get in that little sludge layer. Oh, I think I see something actually. Looks like I missed a plastic plant. Now in here, I don't know if you guys can see it. We'll get some underwater footage in a moment, but down at the bottom you can see the tadpoles. There's also a lot of minnows that they like to hide really low where you can't see them. I got that underwater footage so y'all guys could see what's going on at the bottom of this bog filter. The tadpoles and minnows are absolutely thriving down here. I think personally the lava rock is like the coolest aesthetic down here, and it's perfect for giving a lot of surface area for the beneficial bacteria to grow. Now I was super excited to watch back the pool pond underwater footage because I finally saw Bubba Bass. He's been hiding out underneath this little cinder block, and that's why I've never seen him. When I turned the camera around, I also saw some other fish. We got some red spotted sunfish. I think we might even have a bluegill right there down to the bottom. And we had the bass sitting off to the right. But even crazier than that, hiding in the little sludge layer below is that siren. It's kind of crazy how such a big creature can just go undetected for so long and evade my capture, but seeing him in this little sludge layer and how fast he moves is a pretty good reason of why I couldn't catch him. And you guys know the drill, new creature means we need a new name for him. I am going to be honest, seeing the underwater footage, I have no idea how to tell these bass apart. If they're not sitting next to each other and I can't compare sizes, it's kind of like just having to take a guess. But another cool little thing is there's a lot of minnows that have been surviving next to all of the plants and going undetected. And while you may not be able to see it from this little clip, there's actually some teeny tiny eggs, I'm not sure if they're frog eggs or fish eggs, on the side right there to the bottom left. But before the video ends, I've got to add something that somebody's been very persistent about. So I took a car ride to one of my favorite places. Ever since I was a little kid, my favorite spot to go was the pet stores because it was like going to a zoo without having to pay for it. And even though I was always a fan of reptiles, today we're here to look at some fish. A variety of guppies to be exact. We got several guppies as well as some goldfish to bring home for the pool pond, but also for my brother's tank, which we made a few videos ago. But as I was getting my fish, there's also feeding time, so I got to watch them feed a little eel as well as a lionfish. The eel was actually very slow and gentle. I kind of expected it to be a whole lot more aggressive, but he just kind of took his food and hid. The lionfish was pretty much exactly how you'd expect a lionfish to be, very aggressive. With our fish picked out and a little bit of entertainment on the side, it was time for us to head home and get these fish put up. But not before taking one last look at some of the reptiles, including this goofy little lizard that I really wanted to take home, but I convinced myself not to. But let me know if you guys want me to make a pool terrarium. Okay, we're home from the pet shop, and we've got a whole bunch of goldfish. These are actually not for me. They're for my brother. And then we got all these really pretty guppies, so we'll get all of these. We're going to put them in the water and get the aerator going because I'm not quite ready to put them in the pool pond. I've got to get some other stuff taken care of first, but I don't want them sitting in this bag for a long period of time. All right, I'm getting the water nice and aerated here. I'm getting them acclimated, and then I'm going to pour them all in here together. Most of the goldfish are going to my brother, and most of the guppies are staying with me, but my brother is going to take a guppy, and I am going to take a couple goldfish. All right, we've had them acclimating long enough, and now it's time to let them in here, out of their bags. The water temperature was exactly the same inside and outside the bags. Oh, there we go. I really like those pretty guppies. All the guppies and the goldfish that we do keep, they're gonna go in the IBC tote, the little bog filter, because I don't want them getting immediately eaten up by the bass. I want them to be able to breed and reproduce and have a lot of really pretty fish in the pool pond. All right, now it's time to address the whole plants getting in the filter thing, and that's why I got a nice little pool noodle here, and that'll keep the floating plants from going in. I'm gonna take a few of these now that we have something to block them from flowing out. And that'll be good topwater plants for the bog filter. There we go, they got long roots, but if they feel like getting sucked that way, they'll get blocked and they won't be able to go underneath it, maybe? I might need to put a weight on this side just to keep this thing down like that. That's probably what I have to do. All of these goldfish are going to my brother. I don't remember exactly how many goldfish it was. There's a good bit of big ones and a good bit of small ones. But all of these fish that are left in here are going to my brother into that fish tank that we built like 2 or 3 videos ago. These are all the ones that we're gonna be keeping. We got 2 cobra guppies, a few other assorted guppies, and then just a couple of those goldfish. You can see them all there. This bag's not the best. I'm about to put this in the filter so that it has time to adjust. That one's just playing dead. I saw him moving just a second ago. There he goes. He's just playing dead. He's faking us. Okay, there he goes. He just keeps swimming on his belly. I think he's just a little bit stressed out from all of the constant moving. So we're gonna go ahead and get them ready for their final home. All right, I'm gonna push them over into the shade, let them acclimate for about 20, 30 minutes, and then I'll be able to take them out and they'll be in their new home. We've got our blockage set up, our top water plants here for extra cover, and that thing to block everything from clogging the filter. I put them on the inside, that way they're more shaded from that. I know the sun's real high right now, but after about 30 minutes, we'll let them out in the water and they'll have their new forever home. All right, it's been somewhere around 30 minutes, probably a little bit more than that, honestly. And I think it's about time for us to let them go. And there they go. Look at them all. Our one that was playing dead, he's not playing dead anymore. These things are beautiful, and hopefully they'll breed and produce a lot of future generations in this little tank. You can see them swimming around, exploring, talking to each other. Got a little goldfish hanging out right here. There was also a golden guppy. It wasn't actually a goldfish. It's about the same size as those small goldfish, but he's swimming around here somewhere too. All right, so I actually had to move this pool noodle. What it was doing is it was actually pushing the plants under the pool noodle when they float over there. So now I fixed that problem. And what we have here is a shrimp cave. So we'll add a lot more ghost shrimp in here. And when we do that, this will be a place for them to hide and grow. And they'll also be able to breed in here and stay away from all the other fish that would like to eat them. So I'm just gonna set this against the wall like that all the way at the bottom. Oh, I have to fix that. This one looks like it's mingling with the other minnows. It was swimming next to him. Of course, the other minnows got spooked when I got up close to him. After about half an hour, the guppies were already mingling with the minnows and swimming in schools with them. From here, I wanted to add a few more plants in, but we'll do that in a little bit. For right now, I just want to appreciate all of the underwater footage and seeing these crazy new fish in their new environment. The plan is to go to the front yard pond, collect some plants, put them in the pool pond, and take some of the plants from the pool pond and put them into the filter. I think for the next pool pond video, I'll probably focus a whole lot more on plants rather than fish, so y'all let me know what kind of plants you'd like to see. For right now, I was going to go to the front yard pond and grab some of these plants to put in the pool pond. Now, from what I heard, these are actually very invasive, but I think I can keep them under control in the pool pond. As you can tell, this provides a ton of oxygen for this pond, and it clears up the water really well. This is also some hornwort, but I'm not going to take that from the pond. As I was walking around in the front yard pond, I found a little frog, but he escaped from me. I think this is the first time I've gotten some really good underwater footage from the front yard pond, and this thing is absolutely teeming with life. I originally dug this pond specifically for bait fish and for our alligator gar Jaws, which I didn't get any underwater footage of him, unfortunately, but you can see tons of baby bluegill and even this long-eared sunfish that was swimming around. I'd realized a little bit later on, I was walking right next to his little nest, which you can see down here at the bottom where all these rocks are. He had a little bit of a bed set up, so I didn't want to disturb it, but you can see all of these little minnows, you can see all kinds of bluegill, and this thing is absolutely full to the brim with life. But we're here for the plants, so after getting a good bit of footage, I grabbed a few plants and brought them back over to the pool pond. I'm starting out with just one to monitor how fast it spreads, and if it spreads slowly, I'll add more later on. But for now, I wanted to take these lily pads and move them around. They've been kind of suffocating from all the other plants, kind of drowning them out, so I was going to take one of the plants and set it over in the bog filter to provide shade and cover for the fish. The one that was left in the pool pond is really important. I want to keep it in here, but it's just got to move. It was being completely swarmed by all the hornwort. You can see it here kind of grabbing at the roots, and only about half of the lily pads were actually being able to grow. Now don't worry about the pool pond being so low. I'm in the middle of a water change, which is completely fine and healthy for the pond. Those things, the lily pads, they were doing great, and then all these other plants started to swamp them and take them down and kill them. So I separated away from these other plants, and I took the other one and put it in the bog filter. These are going to grow a lot bigger and a lot wider and create a lot of shade for these fish. Right now, they've been kind of staying near the bottom at the rocks, but eventually they'll be comfortable enough to come up, and I'll be able to add some food to it. Right now, they've got so much food just floating around. As far as the fairy shrimp and all the other stuff, none of those ever hatched. Not a single one, not one in the tanks that I made, nothing. You can see the eggs right here. Not a single one hatched in either tank. They all just kind of sat there. And I've come out here several times looking for them, and there's been nothing but floating debris. And I'm about to have to take all of these and put them in that bog filter because this tank's starting to get dirty. I have some snails in there. I'm not sure exactly where they're at. They kind of blend in pretty good. But I had some snails that we put in here, and I think I'm just gonna put them in the pool pond. You can see the guppies are doing pretty good. They're under there swimming. Got the water hose filling it up with well water, so it's not treated or anything like that. We'll have to check back in when it's back to its regular level, and then I'll give you all the final update. But with the goldfish in tow, it was time to bring them over to my brother Jacob. Now, they have a few fish already in this tank, but that long-ear sunfish we caught in that last video was really bad. He was attacking all the other fish, so we got to remove him and replace him with all of these goldfish that we just got. Now, we did realize halfway there that we forgot to grab the net, but I was able to trap him in the little fish cave, and we got him out of the water. And now it's time to release all of those goldfish that we brought. Now, if you didn't see this aquarium build, I'd recommend checking it out. We turned a 55-gallon barrel into a beautiful wishing well aquarium, and I really don't want to spoil everything for you, so go check that video out when you're done with this one. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. This tank was a whole lot of work, but it really paid off in the end, and as you can see, all of these goldfish are absolutely loving it. But now we're going to go ahead and head back home and check out what the pool pond looks like at night. You can see all kinds of minnows swimming around at the top, but I really wanted to see what was going on down at the bottom. Most of the minnows, guppies, and tadpoles were all sleeping on the bottom, but there were a few that were still active. I even saw a whole bunch of tadpoles that were using the lily pad pot as a little bed. I wasn't able to go out and catch any more shrimp for this video, but we do have the shrimp cave in place for the next time. I'd like to do at least one more video on this pool pond before we ever worry about adding a new pool pond. But I'm going to be honest, I am completely out of ideas, so I need you guys to give me your best ideas and see if it makes it in the next pool pond update. And speaking of suggestions, there were a few suggestions I was not able to get to, and let me explain. For starters, some of the things you guys gave me were actually illegal in my state. It would be illegal for me to add alligators or tilapia to the tank, which a lot of you guys really wanted me to do. There were also a lot of really cool suggestions that just wouldn't work in this pool pond. Things like mud that could clog up my pump, or things like crabs that might actually die in the fresh water. I also had a lot of comments for people asking me to add cold water fish like pike, muskie, walleye, perch, things like that. But way down here in Louisiana, our water gets way too hot for those fish, and I think it would be cruel, if not fatal, to those fish. But there were also some other suggestions like adding more catfish that I just couldn't manage to catch. And I'm mentioning all this just so that you guys know that I read all of your comments and I really am trying to put as much as I can into these videos. I do my best to add as much as I can to these videos, and I really hope that you guys like them. And if you do, consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel because we're going to be doing a whole lot of stuff like this in the future. And speaking of future, we're waiting on some fish to arrive so we can stock our front yard pond and our backyard pond with some crazy critters that'll help clean up the ponds. I've also got some lure builds and fishing challenges in the works, so y'all stay tuned for that. This pool pond's not fully done yet, we still got some work to do, but if you still want to watch some more videos, consider checking out the ones on your screen right now, and I'll see you guys in the next one. As always, Jesus loves you, I love you, and have a great day.